Town Levee Compliance Safety Committee meeting open at 3:34 p.m. I do have, everyone has in the packet there a copy of the minutes. A few minutes to look over 'em from the last meeting. We also had two site visits. We have any notes from them on the 4th and 11th.
What was the first group we met with?
That was the Chase.
Yep.
Chase Allen.
Chase Allen.
Yeah,
They're out of Barry.
Yeah, they said they wouldn't do it. It's too small.
Too small of a job for them.
And the other company, which I tried contacting, Millennium,
Millennium Power Service.
they never answered anything back.
Sorry,
Customer
Joy.
service is amazing these days.
Yeah.
And R.H. White was probably the most responsive company. And then they came out and quote.
Alright, minutes look good.
Yeah, I was gonna say the minutes was fine.
So we want to vote to approve the minutes.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All
Favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
I'll have to abstain because I wasn't here, so I can't really vote on it, so.
He doesn't really know what happened.
Yeah, I don't, so. It looks nice. I believe that this is exactly what you guys did.
Okay.
Very good. Well, actually, no, he stopped in.
I came in at the very end. I was
Yeah.
tied up on a call or
Yeah,
something,
call.
so, yeah.
It's understandable.
And you could staple my papers for me.
There you go. There's always something useful.
Okay, like I said before, we had two site visits. One on April 4th, which is one of our snowstorms. The Chase Allen,
Yep.
they came out, but they looked at it and they do big
Big
valves and stuff. So it's not, wouldn't be worth their
Time.
time to even consider it. So that was a short visit. And the following week, R.H. White came out. They did a little more and looked at everything. They came interested in the job, and they did send us some quotes for the 4 valves. But there is 5. Bill brought up. There is 5 poles, but 2 of them are together, which are unsure if those are connected, a double system on that drain.
Mm-hmm.
And these are, that's in building 9, right?
Yeah, the doubles in 9,
Yeah.
the other ones are in, there's some in 9, some in 8.
And all the, it's all in the buildings along the river.
So did R.H. White looked at all the valves, including the 2 that were next to each other, and still assessed it as 4 valves? Was it their mistake or our mistake? Because when they come to inspect it, if we give them the work,
I already
Yeah,
marked
we're
it
gonna
down,
have
I
to-
told him to contact them because it says 4,
Yeah.
but there's 5.
Yeah.
yeah, I just want to make sure that if
Right.
we give them the go-ahead to do this, that they're going to cover all the valves, not
Yeah.
just go, well, we only marked 4, so
That's what I-
you pick your 4, that's what we're going to do, but we want to see them all.
Yeah, that's what I already told him, to just mark 4,
So we'll make
but
sure
there's
that-
5.
Yeah, if it's going to be additional funds to scope the
Yeah,
5th
so
valve,
they need
we
an
need to know how
updated
much. A new
Yeah.
quote will.
He says funds. What do we have for funds?
Was it 25,000?
25.
So
yeah.
somebody has a line item for this?
There's a line item
Yes.
specifically for the levy.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it on the selectmen budget or
I believe so.
Yes.
25,000?
Yeah.
So that's 25,000 until the end of next month.
Yes.
So we should try and do this before.
Yes,
Yes.
that's why we're
Or get it
going to
sealed
get,
down.
Yeah.
go through the committee, and then we're gonna bring it to, I'm gonna bring it to the town administrator or the select board.
Yeah.
Is the plan to encumber the rest of that money? Or
Yes.
Yes, or possibly,
Cause I know they're asking for another 25,000
That's
at the
right.
meeting, so I think we're gonna encumber it plus get another 25, and then maybe we can pay somebody to do some of the vegetation work and other things. So,
Still don't know if there's gonna be any repairs once they look.
yeah, exactly. I mean, these valves might be junk.
Yeah.
And this is just investigation.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we don't know what is this gonna cost.
If that's just a look, what's it cost to fix?
Oh. Yeah. Our
So the quote would provide, the confined space, 3-man mechanical crew with a service truck to investigate the 4 gates, but we'll see if,
5.
indeed, if it was, if it might be 5, I'll have to verify with them.
Okay.
And then they'll, most likely give us some kind of written report back, hopefully,
Yeah.
or pictures, if they run a camera up the piping, hopefully.
I think if we do it, offer it to them, we have them give us a written procedure for it.
Yeah, we need a scope of work, so we know exactly what what are our results gonna be, is it just, hey, oh yeah, these valves aren't any good, well, where's our pictures?
Right.
Where's the description on why they're no good, what's the step to take care of them?
Yeah, 'cause all it says report
Yeah.
findings of the town of Warren. It doesn't
Yeah,
say how
that's
they're gonna report
so vague, it's
Yeah.
like,
So you are a little more.
little more
Yeah.
details on
Yeah.
what the final report's gonna be.
it. Should probably say a written report to us.
Correct. Because then they could just come and say, yeah, well, they looked at them, they're all rusty, but we could probably give them a work. Well, that's not gonna
My
cut it.
hoping is that they do run a camera somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be spelled out, that's all.
Yeah.
Or else
Yeah,
they're
spell
gonna-
it out and ask them, are they gonna be running the camera through the system?
Are we gonna have access to that video, or is that something that they keep and only show us still images of problems? What is it, When you know exactly what
Well,
we're
ask
paying
if we
for?
can get a written report plus video,
Yeah,
so it covers both. That
Yeah.
way you have both, video and, 'cause I
yep,
mean, they can just send it through
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, flash drive or something like that.
or even just send it here through the,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the quote to me looks reasonable considering what they have to do. And the fact that they're the only company that's interested in doing this work. And this is, it's well under $10,000, so it's something we can approve with no issues without doing any, we don't need 3 formal written quotes because it's not over $10,000.
So can we approve this amount pending what we tell them?
Yes.
What we said we're gonna fix on that?
Yes.
yeah, but that's if they
If-
agree to.
But again, if
5,
they agree and if they don't agree, then we have to come back and
do
discuss
another
this
meeting,
again.
Yeah, 'cause it's more money.
Right,
Correct.
cause
For
if
that
if
one.
there's a
It-
5th one and they add to it,
Correct. Then no matter what we say today, it's void.
Void.
As soon as they change the quote,
Yeah.
we have to reconvene and
Yeah.
approve the new
Change
quote.
that.
cause they could say, yeah, that's gonna include the written report and that,
Yeah.
oh yeah, and it's at 5th valve.
Yeah, oh yeah, add 1,500 more for another
Right.
valve. So, okay, well, we need to know that. Is it gonna be $7,000 now, or what?
If they were gonna, if their plan was just to shoot a quick email with some findings to the town, and it wasn't in-depth in terms of pictures or anything like that, they're gonna change the quote.
Yeah.
So we'll just.
So is there 4 pipes that come out, but one of them has 2 valves? Is that what you're saying?
That's what,
See, even in this, if you looked at your
It's not-
pamphlet from the other paper on this one here,
Yeah.
what they drew in there, they didn't even put what they are. So I'm just going by what I see out the windows and don't know.
So there's no detail.
Because up there is by the dam. We can't see anything.
Yeah.
yeah, that's where those 2
Well,
are.
Two
The 2 are on that end of the building by the dam,
Yeah,
so.
and those are both, what's it say on that thing? I think those are both open.
They're both in the open
I
position?
think, you gotta look on his phone, because I drew a thing.
Yeah, when we walked through, there's a couple of them that are
They
open.
were open, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. I got a runny nose, I need
Sorry,
an
guys.
ambulance.
Bye, chief.
See you
Have a
guys.
good day.
Yeah. Yeah,
She's got a runny nose, she's the ambulance.
See, I think the two at the dam end are open,
Okay,
because see, in this little cartoon version that they have in this thing is useless, because it doesn't really show anything to do with them. Those two that are at that end, I'm wondering if that's because the water at that end, remember I showed you where
Yeah.
the water's moving?
movement.
So, I have no idea.
Yeah, well, hopefully they can look at them and let us know exactly what's going on.
Well, you wouldn't think.
That's the thing, is we don't know what we're looking at yet until
So
they.
you'd rather have them open?
Yeah,
No, I mean, because
yeah,
that way, those
Gotta
are
be
supposed
stuck
to be.
open and stuck closed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want them stuck closed because you don't know what that'll do.
yeah, cause if the water starts coming in and the valve's
right.
closed, it can't go out
Right.
the gate, and then
That's why-
things start getting flooded.
I wasn't there when these were run, so I don't know when they were done exactly, so.
What was done in the 50s?
No,
It was built in the 60s.
64, that's when it was
Turned over.
turned over to the town.
So
So
they
60
say
between
61.
62 and 64, these were built.
Because the valves say 61 on them from manufacturer's date.
Yeah.
Alright.
The problem haven't been opened in 30 years if they've
No,
been
they might have
opened,
been, they might have been done,
They might have been
Before I
exercising them
came.
right up till, yeah,
but I was never,
we're never a part of that,
no.
yeah.
Hmm. Alright. So you want me to make a motion to accept this amount with
Pending.
you checking on if
Pending on-
including
This
all
includes
gates
everything.
Yeah.
and a written report to us?
Okay. We'll have them spell it out a little
Right.
more. Okay. And if it's that same, to do it for the same price.
Yeah.
If it changes,
Yeah.
we'll have to come back.
We'll have to come back and hold a meeting to just approve the new quote.
Well, if anything changes on that,
And if anything changes on it, other than the fact that they just give us a more detailed scope of work,
right,
Yep.
meaning, you know, if anything, if financially, that's where we have to meet again if the numbers change. If the number's the same and they agree to the scope of work that we're requesting,
but they have to specify 5 of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
It has to specify 5 valves, and it also has to specify that they're gonna give us a written report and whatever, and find out if that includes video coverage or photos or whatever of what we're looking at. They can't just say, hey, we inspected it, we found this valve's cracked, this valve's stuck, this one's partially open or whatever, and then say, okay, well, I need $28,000 to go in and fix them. Well, I need actual images of this stuff that's damaged and broken to prove that we're not just gonna shell a bunch of money out for you to just go in there and play with some old valves and call it a day.
It's nice that you came and told us that, but
Yeah.
prove it.
Prove
isn't
it,
that.
prove it. So, all right, well, let's make a motion then to approve the cost of the inspection of $5,560, pending upon the agreement that it covers all 5 valves and includes a scope of work that is descriptive, written and photographs or videos.
Perfect. I second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Okay. So we can call them and let them know, Now, this doesn't have to go, we still didn't, did we get clarification? Does this have to go to the selectmen too? Oh, no, I'm not talking to you. Oh, does this have to go to the selectmen for them to pay this, or?
Yes. Well, now we're gonna take, with this, I'll go back to the company and make sure.
Yeah.
We're talking, everything's
Yeah,
right. And then I was gonna take this to the selectmen.
yeah, see if Jim Farrar can put it on for the next meeting.
Yes.
For the selectmen to approve it, as long as the numbers don't change. If the numbers change and the scope, if something changes,
We gotta meet again.
get back to us, we'll post a meeting as soon as possible to keep this moving.
Yeah.
Because I know they want to spend some money before they ask for more money,
Oh, yeah, then,
so.
And can you put, that that's till whenever that money runs out in the
June.
minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will-
So next
Yeah.
month we'll get a thing that says
Yeah.
it runs out.
Yeah, we have that.
So what, that'll simply, July 1st, it'll get encumbered, so we won't lose the money.
No,
But it's just, that's whatever we don't spend,
Though it
Right.
has to be encumbered
encumbered.
into a project though, correct?
Yes, I think, and let me clarify, we can't just say we spent 5.
Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily need to be a specific project, but it can be for a purpose, as long as it's for a purpose.
As long as it's.
So we could get a quote to clean up the vegetation, say it's
Yeah.
10 grand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But it's not done yet, we're not getting a bill until
Yes.
July
Yeah.
23rd,
So
we can
that-
say what's
yeah.
encumbered
as long
until.
as it's under
that actually
contract.
brings to the
Correct.
next
Oh.
thing.
it is vegetation.
Vegetation.
As long as it's under contract.
Correct.
So I guess we can start talking about that, because we voted on. I was choose an area and we'll try to brainstorm some companies. I was thinking maybe like.
What's it gonna do it, is it
Now, it was anything basically like chest high or bigger,
4
has to
feet.
be cut,
4
4
feet.
feet.
Yeah, and I know there is some of those.
How far?
This, the
The whole
entire
river?
levee, the
Stone.
entire levee,
The
all
whole-
all the
yeah.
stone, from
That's why.
from the waterfall all the way around the corner, and even if we actually own on the other side of the river too.
like
Basically
the
all
Albany
that's-
Like,
roadside?
yeah, well, like, we're 67, where the train, as soon as the train tracks veer off,
Goes to the
and the
left.
river goes to the left, we're responsible for that embankment on that other side of the river.
Right.
All the way to the corner where it bends and
And
finally
it goes,
heads.
that
Yeah.
goes around the corner, that
Yeah,
rubble.
yeah, the riprap, and then
Yeah.
there was that, obviously the sediment that was in the river, they were concerned with that, but.
Probably like a landscaping company, I don't know.
And that's the thing, is that, but you're talking a company that's gotta have,
You gotta have some.
so they gotta have,
Side mowers.
they gotta
that come
have,
out of the road.
most of it's gonna be done by hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't really get any machines.
It's gotta be done by hand.
'Cause you
It's
have
gotta be
the
a
railroad track
company,
right there,
you
you can't
remember,
go.
that has all the proper insurance and everything,
Yeah,
and pays prevailing wage.
yeah.
So they have to have wage certification. So it's not just any landscaping company. I'm gonna tell you, 95% of landscaping companies would not have the proper insurance and paperwork to do this job. You're almost looking at
You
a
gotta
tree
find big.
company,
The only
like
one
a
I-
northern
Northern
tree, one of those type of
Ashland,
companies.
not Ashland.
Yeah, Asplin does only National
yeah.
Grid work, they won't work for a town.
What the hell's the other one?
There's a bunch of them around, bigger ones there, Nelson.
Nelson.
and,
Yeah, so I was thinking, yeah.
Northern, Nelson.
Northern and maybe Nelson, make some
Yeah,
contacts. I know they're in Palm in the main office.
yeah,
Contact them.
yeah,
Cause they're gonna have to actually walk it down.
yeah.
They're not gonna be able to.
Oh
sit
yeah,
in their
those
buckets.
guys are gonna go down on their,
Well,
with their gear and climb the rocks and cut
Right.
everything. And then, are they responsible for cleaning it up or just cutting it down? Because that was the question before, are we dragging this brush out of here, or do we just have to cut it down and let it rot?
That's gonna be a
Didn't
problem.
really-
That's a whole different
Yeah,
ballgame.
and they didn't really get into that ball
No,
of
they just
worms.
wanted the
Yeah.
vegetation below
Cut.
4 to 4
Yeah.
feet.
But they would, when you asked about it, they wouldn't really say much about it.
Yeah, because a lot of companies, what they'll do is they'll cut everything down and then they'll just slash it up to smaller pieces and let it sit and rot.
Yeah.
But are we allowed to do that?
Yeah.
'Cause
They
they don't want
didn't.
those-
They didn't seem to have a problem with it.
Yeah.
For some reason, it was after 4 feet. They felt trees and brush were large enough and strong enough to grab and hold debris. So if the river's flooding,
Yeah.
is it gonna cause a jam by having these trees and brush growing along the edge of the river? Where if it's cut down to smaller vines and smaller debris, that won't stop the flow, impede the flow of the river.
But if you were to cut everything and leave it, and then something would flood, then all that stuff's got.
Yeah, see,
Yeah,
that's
but
what's
it's all,
about
that's
it.
the thing, is how small do you cut it up? Is it to that it's okay?
You dice it
But
up.
if it gets
on
into a
the-
jam,
you know?
that's just gonna add to the jam.
Well, that's it.
I guess
know.
maybe the company would say, hey, someone that did this somewhere else.
Yeah,
um,
you're gonna have a
Who
hard.
makes that decision, the Army Corps?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So we have to contact them to make sure
Sure.
they're okay
With,
with
well,
what
what's the
we're.
scope? Does
Yeah.
it, we need to know if it's cut, does it have to be removed, or is it a certain size? Does it have to be this big? Does that, you know?
See, I remember them being very vague about
They
that.
were.
Yeah, everything you asked, everything
Very
they talked
vague.
about is very vague.
Yeah, they don't,
Everything.
there, no specifics. It's
No.
just, it was, what's chest height? So we determined, well, it depends on whose chest. Cause his chest is at 5 feet.
Yeah.
You know, mine's at 4.5 and yours is at 4. Like, which one's right? So it's, again, they said, well, just figure 4
Well, I
feet.
asked him that,
Yeah, figure 4 feet.
That's probably where the standard.
because he
goes,
said,
is 4 feet.
because he said chest height,
Yeah.
and I said, well.
Whose?
Yeah, and
They couldn't answer the
Nope.
question.
Hey, your chest height's a little,
Yeah, I was saying, let's go by.
Yeah, that's
that's
what
what
I
I'm
was.
saying. And they wouldn't answer.
No. So I think no, at the end of the day, because now the way they're scoring levee maintenance, it's as long as you're making an effort, they're going to give you more points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if we cut everything down, have them cut it up, slash it up small, and leave it. And I'm sure we're going to get a much more of a pat on the back than if we do nothing,
Yeah.
as opposed to spending $100,000 to have somebody cut it all down and drag it out. Because that's a whole different ballgame.
Because Lewis Tree,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
do the high tensions,
Yeah.
so that might be somebody to contact.
Could reach out. The issue with some of these companies is they're too small. This is too small of a job. for
Right,
them.
The insurance. is
They
against
want,
you.
yeah, they want a monster job.
They would like say we just want to do a little section of it, and then they would say, well, we'll do the whole thing, you know?
Well, that's it. They're gonna say, we want, $75,000 and we're gonna do the whole thing, or don't even bother talking to us.
So,
So,
but a smaller guy might say, okay, yeah.
but then the issue with the small
Insurance.
companies,
Is
and the insurance and the certified
That's
payroll.
where you-
Because it has to be the owner of the business doing the physical work, otherwise it has to be, you have to provide a certified payroll to show that you're paying any employees you have prevailing wage, and then you gotta get the state and federal prevailing wage for that position and make sure it's getting paid properly. So there's a lot more details to it when you get into this type of work. But trying to find some companies to give us quotes for brush removal is gonna be hard, so. We'll try Northern first, and maybe we could try a few local, smaller companies if they have the insurance.
What's the proper insurance? Is it like $1 million liability policy or something like that?
Yeah,
well, that you'd have to. get
Minimal,
from the
that's
town,
minimal, yeah.
Whatever they require.
yeah. We talked to Jim Farrar on that one,
Yeah.
because he's changed that. What we used to be require and what we require now are two totally different things. Because Jim is very, very thorough when it comes to insurance, making sure everybody's properly insured. So I think we need to clarify the standards that we need to hold these companies to through him
Well,
first.
so do we kind of maybe say we want to make a vote of saying 4 feet?
Yeah, we can get a
Dice
quote.
it up and kind of
I would say just have
Kind of
somebody
what we-
come and cut everything down and slash it up,
cut and slash.
because you're gonna,
Yeah.
you need it knocked down, you might as well have them cut everything when you're there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the quote difference between cutting 30 small trees that are growing and cutting 500 feet of vines and brush are two totally different
But see,
things. too.
that's where it starts getting sketchy,
Yeah.
because they won't answer the question.
Yeah. Is
The
vine-
next thing they're saying is the vegetation.
Yeah,
So, some of that vegetation isn't 4 feet, but they want it gone.
yeah.
So, you
That's
see what I'm
true.
saying?
Yeah, I
Everything's so-
know. It's like
everything's so
it's-
sketchy.
It's a tough thing to decipher, like what needs to be done and what we can let go. So it's like, but we're trying to do, obviously, we're gonna try and do a lot of work with no money, so, I mean, we have a
And
little
without
bit of
any
money.
guidance.
Yeah, and that's the thing, there's no guidance, and then really, in the sense of oversight, these guys are gonna show up next year and go, oh
That's
yeah,
not
well,
what-
this is nice, let's mark this, take some pictures, and good job. And it's like, they don't really care.
They'll find something else.
Yeah, oh, you guys need to fix this now.
And
you need to do
that's
that.
what their job
That-
is.
yeah. But at least if we can get,
Ongoing.
yeah, get some
Something.
quotes for the vegetation,
Okay.
you know.
Who does the landfill?
Who does a landfill? what's the name?
That's-
Waste Solutions
Yeah, it's a
runs it.
Trash company.
Yeah. And then they hire a subcontract, somebody to help, they're supposed to do the mowing and brush clearing on that. I don't know who's the company doing it now, the Board of Health oversees that.
Oh, I thought it was actually a dump contractor himself.
And that's what I thought. it
Taking
was.
care of it. I know
Yeah.
he got a solar field too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a whole
Yes.
different thing.
That's different, everything's
That's
different.
That's
Yeah,
not even
but
under
no-
the same ballgame.
No, but what I'm saying is, can we use that contractor?
If they
If they
would
do
be,
that.
if
They'd
it
already-
would
no,
certainly
it's
wouldn't
something
hurt to reach
ask
out to
because
them.
they're already insured.
Yeah, they're already working for the town
Right.
essentially, on town property.
But they're doing it with tractors and.
Yeah, well, that's it, this
You
is
know,
not by hand.
right.
They
Well,
got track machines.
Some of it they have to do by hand.
Oh, they had a huge excavator.
Yeah, but, I mean, what little they do,
Yeah.
I'm sure they have 'em something to do it with. They don't just sit there with a
Yeah.
little weed whacker
Right.
and go at it.
Yeah.
Is it worth trying to maybe find a little guy that is, if the
Willing.
insurance?
Insurance.
It's, yeah, it's gotta
The
meet all the
insurance is the
proper things,
problem.
Yeah.
the
And if
wage
it's-
clip certification, proper.
And if it's
Yeah.
town approved,
Town approved.
sure.
It's just, it's so
So
rare.
you
that you-
go to a bigger company
Yeah.
more than.
Bigger companies are gonna have the certifications and qualifications and insurance that you need to have them, to hire them to do this type of work. Because the reality is, if they don't carry the liability, you do. And if you hired a company that isn't properly insured and somebody gets hurt working for you, they're coming after the town.
Try Lewis, cause they
It
do
wouldn't
the high
hurt.
tensions.
It wouldn't hurt.
That's who does all the high tension lines.
Yeah, they have a contract with whatever power provider is to do
Yeah.
that.
That would be too.
It's like Asplin, they only work for National Grid, they do not work
Well,
for
that's
towns.
National
and-
Grid, but I'm sure,
Yeah.
but I know Lewis does other stuff.
Yeah, they do, that is a big company.
There's another one, Nelson here.
Yeah, Nelson,
So
they do a
maybe-
lot of
Maybe
different
check
stuff.
with those three,
Yeah.
Northern,
Yeah.
Lewis, Nelson.
So just see if anybody's interested in coming out and giving us a quote.
Okay.
So,
But the only thing is, where all this is vague, that's the thing that,
at
they
this-
weren't very clear about
Yeah.
anything. Anything they said
Yeah.
was left kinda so vague that it
Yeah.
could be interpreted any way you wanna take it.
I think at this point, if we get a quote for a company to come in and cut everything down and
Yeah, I
slash
think
it
they'd
up,
be happy.
we're being much better placed than we are right now. So, at this point, they just, again, they'll need to determine with their quote, what is their scope of work though? What exactly are they gonna give you for that money?
Right.
And
Yeah.
that needs to be written down on paper so that it's very clear. If they do not fulfill their contract, they'll be in violation. And like, hey, we're gonna hold half the money until this is
Yeah.
finished right, type deal, that's,
So upon approval,
yeah.
then
Upon approval,
under,
the whole of it.
but that's the thing, you gotta put it in how high, what's
Yes.
gotta be removed,
Yes.
Yes.
And we know at absolute minimal, everything has to be cut to 4 feet. 4 feet or less. The issue is you're cutting everything at 4 feet, by the September, it's 7 feet tall.
And the other thing is,
Yeah.
but it sounded like they wanted all the other stuff gone,
Yeah,
any vegetation, so
yeah,
4 feet, you got stuff that's running around.
Let's get a quote for chopping their stuff down.
just chopping everything down and
Yeah.
see
If they
what
come
we
back
can-
and say, we can say, hey, we chopped out on this, if they say
Yeah.
they want that, all right,
All
then maybe that's
right,
a
well
project
then
for
that's
next year.
next year, exactly. All right, let's go with that.
Alright. So I'll make a motion to contact Northern, Lewis, Nelson, three companies.
Yeah.
To basically,
Look for a quote to clear the brush along the levee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
alright. That's pretty much, had other business down, and if anyone else has any other concerns or.
No, just got that clarified about.
I was just wondering about the line item and what money we had.
The money, okay.
You answered that.
Yeah, that's.
What
So-
else, what else did they say? We gotta get that in
The gates, the
valves.
gates were, the valves there
They wanted the
were
brush cut.
number
Was there
one,
anything
and
else
the
they said?
brush was number two. I think that was it for their initial things, wasn't it not? Cause they had some questions about, but I put them in contact with Mass DOT to go over all the stuff on the bridge. Cause they changed, when they rebuilt that
The
bridge,
sluice way.
they changed the layout of the levee, and they didn't get permission to do it.
Right, they
So
took out,
Mass DOT changed it and never got Army Corps' permission.
yeah, they took out the sluice way.
Yeah.
Where they
Yeah.
funneled it down, they had rocks to funnel it, so it wasn't like, oh my God, water flowing through there like crazy. They formed like a sluice way with rocks to slow it down,
They took it out.
to make, yeah, they took it out.
They took it out when they
and
did
never
the
put it
bridge,
back.
yeah.
That's the way I understood.
Well,
I
that's
could be
Mass
totally
DOT
wrong.
makes mistakes too. But anyway, that was one of the things that, and I put them in direct contact with the bridge department in Northampton, so.
How long was that, how long ago was that?
80, that bridge was put in 80.
And
Yeah.
it's just realizing now that Mass DOT did that.
See,
And
40
they come out every year.
that's the thing is Army
How is that
Corps,
possible?
Army
Army-
Corps knew there was something wrong, but could never identify what it was. And they assumed it was something with the construction when they redid that bridge. And it was only because I was like, well, I can put you in contact with the company that, or the people that were in charge that have all the designs and everything that they laid out when they redid this bridge. And sure enough, like I said, they were able to get prints on everything. The guy was like, this is awesome. We've been asking these questions for years and nobody's answered them. It's like all of a sudden we get like a flood of information. Oh, okay. So I don't know if their mess up is something we have to fix. As of right now, they didn't clarify that. So.
But they should have all this in their designs. They
Yeah.
always come with these designs from
Yeah.
1950 when they
Yeah.
started it to,
Yeah.
it was handed over in 64 to you guys.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, not all this stuff is in black and white.
No, no,
And some of it's left to interpretation.
no. Oh, well, we can only fix what we can fix.
Right.
So, and I think we're moving in the right direction. Hopefully, we'll hear back from R&H White on that setup, and then
Straighten
get
out
some
the price
quotes,
and the amount.
quotes on the
Just make
vegetation.
sure if we get a new one of these when,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you
Yes,
have to.
yeah, we'll get a,
with that added.
yeah.
you know, if it's not if it's the same price.
If it's the same price, then they just have to change the
Yeah.
wording
Right.
on this.
Yeah.
If it's a different price, we have to have, this needs to be completely
And that's kind
redone
of
in
like why
a new
you
meeting.
gotta have this, the scope of work, but you also have a copy of the written work procedure.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm sure this is just something for us to have at this meeting.
Yeah, just to get in the door.
Right.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll try to get a more detailed.
Exclusions. Yeah, so this is no repairs whatsoever, this is just the
Yeah.
inspection.
This is just an inspection.
Just an inspection.
And they're excluding everything else down below.
Everything, yeah, I just read through that. Prompt payment before work, 50% prompt payment before work.
The only thing I
Or-
did,
Copy, the kind of.
I did check on that with the town administrator, and he did say that the 50% before, that's something that the town doesn't do.
No, you
So-
wouldn't do that, but they would just need a copy of the, basically, what it is it's documents showing that, hey, you have the money set aside to pay them.
A good fit.
That's it. It's just like, listen, we're not lying, we have $25,000 set aside,
Yeah.
so we can pay this bill as soon as we get it. So, and they'll, our town has a very, very, very good credit rating, so most people don't have any issues with that. Okay. Anything else? I think we got what we need going forward,
Yeah.
so.
I'll work on that.
Okay, so, yeah, if you could email us once you hear back from them,
Yeah.
if there's any changes. And then, we'll make the next move from that. You know, whether we need to schedule another meeting right away, or whether we can let this play out.
Text me.
Yes. Yeah, or
So-
I'll drop something off
Yeah,
copy
yeah,
of it too,
yeah.
maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, just let me know when you're coming.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, same thing, you know, put together an email, and then we'll figure out too, if you get quotes for the vegetation removal, we can move
Yeah.
forward on that. We'll schedule a quick meeting
Same
just to
time.
review that and approve that.
Yep.
If we find somebody who's interested and it's a reasonable.
Now, here's a question for you. On the railroad side,
Yeah.
should somebody be contacting the railroad before this time? Because you have to get their
Yeah, right
blessing.
away, yeah.
Yeah, you can't touch their
No,
property.
but that's part of what they want cleared along where,
Yeah, but do they own
across
that
the
property?
river.
I don't know if they
Oh, it's
own.
town property.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they only own to where the
10
levee
feet, yeah.
starts.
Where all the
So the riprap,
is on the other side
yeah,
also.
but that's, the
You may have
riprap
to get
is
permission to
ours.
cross it.
Oh, you definitely need permission to cross it.
Oh, you can't even, yeah,
You
that's a
can't go near
felony.
there. Yeah, you can't go near that.
No,
Anybody who's gonna be a contractor, that has to
We'll
go
know
through-
that. They'll
has to go
call,
through their
get
But that's what I'm
CSX
saying.
clearance, and
but
track
who
water.
starts that ball rolling?
Well, I think we need to get a company willing to do the
Do-
work
yeah.
before we even need to go to
Alright.
that level. Because then we can,
Cause
Or is
they're
it a
gonna have to
company that
have
maybe
trained
just
people to go
did
through
one
the,
side, yeah.
or
yeah,
certified people to go through the ROH program that they have, which is
Yeah.
the right-of-way work.
Yep.
And you can't do it, they won't allow you to do it without that,
yeah.
so.
Most of the stuff down that side, they spray it anyway, they kill it
Yeah,
anyway.
their side they kill.
They can kill anything they want, they have.
We just need to
We
be able to
can't-
cross over to get the.
Yeah, we can't do what they want, we can just, we need to cross their property to get to to do work on our side, on what we own over there.
Right,
So,
that's why.
yeah, like I said, I think let's start with, see if we can get a company in here with a reasonable quote before we worry about getting permission from CSX
No,
to
but
cross their line.
That doesn't take 5 minutes.
No,
How long
no,
They
no,
tied the
no.
bridge up in West Brookfield.
Oh, yeah.
That they wanted raised 5 years,
Yeah,
because they want to put the road through the railroad tracks.
yeah.
Then we'll leave the bridge down, you convert them.
Yeah, but when you're just asking for right-of-way access to cross.
They're pretty good
They're
about it?
pretty good about
Oh.
it. Because the daily track crews that work on this sector they'll be the ones called in, so you put the request in to CSX. They'll contact the local maintainers for this area.
Yep.
They'll come in and flag and make sure that we can cross. It might cost us money, you never know.
That's probably on.
It's not a freebie to have them come in and watch the train while we cross the
Mhm.
tracks.
That was the problem, isn't it that the problem with the downtown, train thing? That's
Yeah,
why
you
the
can't,
backside
you
isn't.
can't work on the back of the train station because it's within their right of way. And you need to have protection in order, right? So meaning they need a track maintenance crew or guy there watching, observing, and making sure everybody stays out of the right of way. And then they can contact the train if there's any issues to shut down work, or hey, there's a train rolling through, everybody needs to clear this space. Okay, they radio the train, you're good to come through. But they don't want to slow down even for a second. You better, because if you stop the train, it's a huge fine. Huge fine. So, fun.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I think we're in good shape till the next meeting.
Yep.
All right. So I make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Adam?
Adam, he's out.
Meeting
I think he's
adjourned
good.
at 4:12.
He's got bigger things.